All right, hello YouTube and welcome to today's video. I am not going to subject you to the music that was in the uh, preview for this. Hopefully you understand. I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure we'll have a good time listening to that music. I just would rather wait until the event starts again. Have to listen to it again. So anyway, this is my Genshin Impact version 3.8 game plan video. Mostly, I'm going to be talking about my Kanban chart, but I'll talk a little bit about the upcoming event to start off the video because I'm guessing that's a lot of what people are thinking about. And if you're thinking about the banners, don't worry that you're not going to see anything about the banners in this video. I'm going to cover the banners as part of the test run. So if you want my opinion about the banners, that's going to happen later. So anyway, did everyone have a good time with Genshin Impact version 3.7 and all the fun stuff that came with all the TCG uh, events? Or is everyone back from running in terror from the TCG? If you had a good time with it or not, it's I hope you had a good time. Or if you didn't do it, hope you had a good break. How did I do in 3.7? Well, as far as the banners go, I didn't really do anything in phase one. Let's see there. This was Kazuha or nothing, as it turned out. Ferrara was interesting. Thought about pulling for her maybe to get a chance at her, but all in all, I just didn't want to take a chance that would end up losing out on Kazuha. Even though I already had him at C0, his C2 form can be game break. So I wanted to make sure that I at least got him to C1. And as far as my results go, even though I didn't win the 50-50 this time, I did get some pretty early 5-star pulls. So overall, I'm very happy with how I got along in 3.7 as far as the banners. That does put me in kind of a bad spot if there's anything in 3.8 that I want, but we'll talk about that later. But now we're just going to talk about 3.8. And this is something that, if for those of us who didn't play version 2.8, uh, or those of us who don't remember 2.8, this is a main event that could be significantly different than what we've seen uh, in a lot of the recent versions of Genshin Impact. When we did this in 2.8, uh, the event started 2 days after the patch was released, and the event went all the way until the end of the patch. So it wasn't like it was just here for 2 weeks out of six and then it was gone, or 3 weeks out of six it was gone. It was literally only not available for the first 2 days. Now, of course, there was a little bit of time gating in this as well, where they introduced different islands of the Golden Apple Archipelago at one day at a time. Um, but one of the things that I remember about Golden Apple Archipelago was it was so impossibly large. There were four islands that were both very intricate and took a lot of time to fully explore to get all of the treasure chests. And I don't think I got them all. I'm pretty sure I got all of the ones off Kazuha's island. I'm pretty sure I got all the ones off Shinyan's island and Fischl's island. Um, but Mona's island, I know I missed a few. And I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if to find out that I might have missed one or two on Kazuha's, because that was a really tough. Um, And not only were there treasure chests on those islands, there are also other islands there are other things on. And like I said, it was just a long thing to go through. And now that 2.8 is over, it's been over for a long time. You can't go back to the Golden Apple Archipelago. Even if we were going back as part of version 3.8, it would have been something completely different. So you wouldn't have been able to collect the treasure chests that you didn't collect the first time. Or if you had collected all the treasure chests the first time, it wouldn't be like there'd be nothing. So instead, we're going to something called Bottleland. And what exactly is Bottleland? We don't know yet. At least as of this video. I wanted to record this video a little bit later on than I'm doing right now, but schedule is what it is. I have to record this video now so it can go up on when I want it to go up. And it's not going to be colliding with my test run video. So I went back to the special program announcements to take a look at what they talked about in version 3.0. Not only that, but I also went back to look at how they presented 2.0 to see if there's anything that they did differently. Because I wasn't quite sure if we were getting to say if there's got to be something different or whether it's going to be laid out roughly the same. And based without going into all the details and showing side by side slides, I can say that looking at what they said about 3.8 is very consistent with what they said when they were announcing this for 2.8. So I'm going on the assumption for right now that it's going to be the same. So we're going to have probably a marathon event. This is just a guess, mind you, because we could learn something different, and we'll get a bunch of rewards. You can see all the rewards here. Um, just like last time, you can exchange vouchers to get a specialized um, costume. This time for Kaya, in and then you can invite Layla. I don't know what she has to do with this because she wasn't involved in the special program announcement whatsoever. But that doesn't mean that she won't play a part in it. Or maybe she's just here, uh, just randomly. Either way, so what what do we expect from the map? I'm not going to cover all the mini events. I'm kind of looking a little bit at what the map gave us, and you can see that one of the things that sticks out to me just looking at the map is you can see roughly where everything is. You can see where the voucher boxes are. You can see where the chests are. You can kind of see some other details, like there's a teleport point right there and a teleport there. You can see that there are different region names and so forth. So um, just by looking at this, it's a little bit difficult to determine how big this map is in its entirety. But it could. But I'm my suspicion is it's gonna be a little bit big. Um, and just like I kind of hinted at before, this is not a map that we're going to have for the rest of the game. This is a map that we're going to have most likely just for 3.8. And once 3.8 is over, this map goes away forever uh, with all the voucher boxes and fascinating chests that you did not get when you by the end of it. Do I think this is going to be as hard as 2.8 was? Hard to say. I'm thinking it's going to be easier because I was thinking back and I was thinking this is a pretty hard one. I did enjoy that it was a challenge. I enjoyed that you really had to work hard to get everything done. But I also remember a lot of streamers that I followed that were stressing out near the end because they were just finishing the story, or they had just it dawned on them a week ago that, oh my gosh, there's these chests are literally everywhere, and you have to unlock the chests. Sometimes the chests aren't even visible if you don't have things set up in the right way. And sometimes when things are too hard, when people think that things are too hard, and they complain to Hoyoverse about how hard it was, Hoyoverse takes as a sign that they need to make things easier. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is easier than 2.8, but I would still say get started on this event early. I know a lot of us streamers, we tend to not want to start an event right away because everything's time gated. We can only get through one part out of five on the first day it comes out. This is going to take a while, and I think it's good. I think I might need to add some more stream time, perhaps. It's hard to say. I mean, really, I keep saying it's hard to say because we don't really know what's happening. But I would. But if you're listening to me talk about what we should do to get ready, I would say start early. Better to start early, get everything done, and then have time to kill waiting for 4.0 than to be stressing over not getting all of the chests or still trying to figure out where the last two or three of them are as the servers are shutting down for maintenance. Now, that type of thing. This the all these chests and all of the all of what's on this map is going to be a big value going into 4.0, particularly if you, like me, have spent a lot of your wishes on Kazuha and may want to stock up for characters you might be meeting in 4.0. Or you might need wishes for this version, depending who you're going to be wishing for. Anyway, so that is most of what I have to say about the events. Now, the rest of it's going to be my Kanban chart, so which you might be interested in. Um, but anyway, so my thoughts on my Kanban chart were a little bit different before my stream on Saturday. The stream on Saturday, I decided to make a big push for Kazuha to get him up to C1. And as a result, I managed to get Yao Yao 5 times. So I went from having no Yao Yao to having a C4 Yao Yao that I now feel like I probably need to build up. So a lot of and not only that, but I also got the Wolf's Gravestone, which I have some ideas on how on perhaps where I need what I need to do with it, but it's hard to say right now because it may have to do what I decide to do may be dependent on what I do in the first phase of the banners. And I would like some more information before I make that decision. So anyway, this is my Kanban chart. Unlike most Kanban charts you've seen, I I basically limit the work in progress horizontally rather than vertically. So you can see that bringing a character all the way up to 90, I allow myself to do two of those maximum per version. And see, I got two of them done last time. Um, and I have Yao Yao here, and that's going to be one of my two. Uh, if I do a second one, it's going to be because I decided to pull for and got Eula. I do have the guarantee in place, so that is possible. I also have pity that's somewhere in the 40s right now. Have to look at it for sure, but I think it's 42, which means that it's gonna be tough to get Eula, but not impossible. Um, but getting Yao Yao will be a little bit of a challenge. Um, Mostly, it's going to be clicking on the right thing. Uh, um, Julienne chilies, that's not the problem. Slimes, that's not the problem. I don't have any of the quelled creepers left over from when I did Nahida, but the but I also are am kind of low on emeralds right now. So even though I will get plenty of emeralds from the dendrohypostasis, but usually the bosses itself won't give you all of the gems that you need to complete it. But there should be some other elements I can borrow from if I need to. So that will be the first one. Now, if there's going to be a second one, it's going to be because I pulled for and got Eula. That is literally the only 5 star that will make the second slot. And if she does, then I'll just put her in. If not, then the two is a maximum. It's not a minimum. So I'm not going to pull one of my other characters I haven't done yet into ready to start just to get 2 of them done. So take a look at the weapons right here. And you can see that for the weapons, and by the way, the limits that I put on this, I have painstakingly monitored how much I could do in each version since 2.7. And so I have a pretty good idea of how much is possible with giving me enough time to not be stressed out over everything. Um, so I can do up to 3 weapons. And I certainly want to do the Wolf's Gravestone. That is going to be useful for either Eula if I get her. If not, it will probably fall to Beto, and then the Alcomaro will go somewhere else. The Phonius Lance is also kind of a need right now. Probably a little bit higher value, higher importance than the Wolf's Gravestone because that's pretty much the consensus favorite weapon for Yao Yao among people who know more about building Yao Yao than I do. So, um, the interesting thing about these 2 weapons, as you notice, they both use ascension materials from the same domain and also from the same day. So it's a Wednesday Saturday rotation from Cecilia Garden. And yes, you can see that's just Wednesday and Saturday. I don't put Sunday on them because Sunday applies to all of them. So just keep that in mind as you see everything else. Sunday is always assumed. Um, so I will probably pull one of them in and get started. I don't think neither one of them are particularly hard to build. They're mostly going to be about getting the Dandelion Gladiator. Both of them require the Chaos device circuits and cores, which you can get from the Ruin Guards. Slimes for this one, the Wolf Gravestone requires the drops from the Samatrils, if I remember correctly. And both require Mora and Mystic Ore. I do have I think I have close to enough Mystic Ore to do both. Certainly don't have enough total. So, but I do pick up Mystic Ore, um, just in my regular goings on in the game. So, um, and those are the 2 I'm gonna go with. I do have enough bandwidth on the weapon to pull the end of the line in. But the end of the line is really kind of a weapon that would be nice to build, but it's not something I need right now. It's not something that's going to go on one of my bow users as soon as it's done. So I think there's going to be places where I'm going to need to focus more and spend a little bit less on the weapons. So so we're going to leave the end of the line here for probably until 4.0, and then I'll probably keep passing on it until I actually have a archer that's going to require it. Um, so that's the weapons. So you can see that we have two on Wednesday, Saturday. Even though weapons don't usually take too long to grind, it is worth noting when I'm going to need to be somewhere, because that means that when we go to talents, that's that Wednesday, Saturday is going to have some competition weapons category. And so we have the talent level. Um, Now I allocate no more than two uh, characters all the way up to six across, and then the other two categories, 6 and 6, right there. Six, the middle six refers to individual talents going to 7 and individual talents going to 8. Then the next one is individual talents going to 9 and individual talents being crit. So that gives you an idea of and I did kind of overload um, this column a little bit, partially because I in the previous version I did something a little dumb, and I was supposed to be grinding ballad books, and then but instead I went for gold books because I forgot there was a leeway instead. It was Mondstadt instead of leeway. So in the end, I do have some gold books already. That's going to make things a little bit easier. And I also have some other talent books that, to the point where some of these characters aren't really going to need to even go in. I'm not even going to need to grind their talent books. I can simply pay the Mora to get the skills, the talents up, and be done with it. So um, you can kind of see that in the upper left-hand corner, um, it kind of marks off how many requirements I've already met. First thing I always do is for everything that's not all to 6, I check the weekly boss drops to see if I already have enough. If I don't have enough, then that's my sign that I need to be working on that weekly boss. I always do 3 weekly bosses no matter what, but um, it's more important to get a boss done is that you need for talents than just doing a boss just for the fun. So turns out that every talent that I've selected for to work on in 2.8, 3.8 right there, it I already have the weekly boss drop. Not only that, but there's a lot of them that I already have the books for as well. So what I'm going to do, just to begin with things, even though I normally just do one at a time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull to the working category um, everything that is all that I already have the Mora for, or the books for. That's just a matter of getting the Mora to get everything. This is always easier to do off camera than on. So so it's mainly just these ones right here. As you can see, uh, so D-Luke's talents right here. We're not going to move those over because he will need resistance books as well as Mora to get that done. We're also not moving anything with the block stripes. Block stripes just basically refer to or just denote anything that I can't actually level right now. So in the cases of electrolumine skill burst in normal 9 and skill burst normal 10. That's kind of self explanatory. I can't bring any talent up to 10 that isn't already 9. And same thing, I can't bring anything up to 9 that isn't already 8. So basically, once these 8s go by and they just need to be paid for, then the 9s get unblocked and then they can go, so forth. But and then for Yao Yao Alt 6, keep in mind that Yao Yao cannot go to Alt 6 until she is at least level 7. I think we kind of know that, but just in case I had to tell you. So, but overall, this is a little bit more work in the talents. But if you look at to see how many, I'm basically just a little bit of grinding the Mora overflow missions is probably going to make this go away pretty quickly. And after that, it's going to be a lot of just going in Tuesday and Friday to do some of these, and then Wednesday, Saturday eventually to do those. Now once we go into actually doing the work, my rule is that between the weapons and the talent levels, I allow only two things to be in progress at the same time, but they cannot have the same schedule. So if Favonius Lance goes in first, which it probably will, then that means that talent level can only have something that's running on a Tuesday, Thursday schedule. Which, if you look at how things are going, it's probably going to work out fine anyway. Um, I could make it three if I wanted to have one on Monday and Thursday, one on Tuesday and Friday, one on Wednesday and Saturday. But all that means is that there's not going to be enough resin to do literally anything else. So I always make sure I have one of those schedules to do things like the boss, do things artifacts. Artifacts always take forever, and you know they do. And that's what I'm going to talk about next, because I've now kind of switched up my how I track the artifacts going forward, because I have mostly caught up with artifacts. A lot of what I've done up to this point is make a bunch of artifact sets that are quote unquote good enough. They're good enough to use right now. They're good enough to handle nearly everything that's on the map. Will they be good enough for 412 of the Abyss? Some of them maybe, some of them maybe not. So we now have a kind of a divided set of the artifacts and artifacts I'm optimizing. So right now I'm working on Nahita's Deepwood Memories set. You can see I've gotten two. I have two artifacts right now that I'm particularly happy with. I do have flower, a plume, and a circlet that aren't as high up as I wanted them to be. The plume, in addition to not being as high as I want it to be, is an offset piece. And it's going to stop me from getting a full 4-piece Deepwood Memories set. Instead, what I have right now is a 2-piece Deepwood Memories and a 2-piece Wanderer's Troop, which isn't the worst thing in the world, I suppose. But but as I've looked more into it, she does need to have the 4-piece set at least available. And I don't see any lineups that I'm most likely to use her with where she would be paired with somebody else who has the deep set. So, and speaking of the Deepwood Memory set, we now have Yao Yao, and this is basically what I understand right now. She does need probably double the energy recharge as the base. Um, Now she's got now, as you may have noticed, she has the Favonius Lance, so that's going to help a lot. I'm assuming that I'm going to give her an ER Sands, which will probably take care of most of it just between those two things. Now, you may, depending on who you've seen talk about this on YouTube, you may be surprised that I'm going for a rate circlet instead of either an HP circlet or a healing bonus circlet. The reason for that is because of the Favonius Lance. The Favonius Lance will passive will do absolutely nothing if you have a character with a crit rate of 5%. So I like to get that into 40s, 50s if I can, to make sure that it's actually going to do something. Because I'm not going to have Yao Yao on the field whacking whacking enemies left, right, and center. That's really not what her style is geared towards. So getting the crit rate circlet will get me most of the way to where I need to go. I probably will want to get some crit rate uh, through the other four as well. But aside from that and the ER, I think that the only thing that really matters is HP. Um, and her healing is pretty good to the point where I'm not particularly worried about not having a healing bonus on the circle. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. And if you're wondering where Yao Yao is going to be used, she's probably not going to end up being used with anyone who has the four-piece Deepwood Memories. Right now, that's only two characters, being Nahida, of course, and Kale. So I don't expect I would use Yao Yao with either one of them. I would more likely use Yao Yao together with Lumine, the Traveler, but she has Gilded Dreams, two piece, and Gladiator, and I might just move her to a full four-piece Gilded Dreams because I feel like I'm a little bit more confident that I can pull that off than I was early on in version. And then, of course, I have Kuching's Thundering Fury set. This one is on a different column simply because the Thundering Fury set is possible in the strong box. So right now I have a decent set for her right now. These numbers, as you can see right here, are okay. I want these numbers to be 750% higher, if at all possible. And this is based on the Genshin Optimizer um, website. So I kind of look at the artifacts there, kind of get a sense of exactly how good they really are in terms of total value. But total value is not a be all end all. Just because it has good value doesn't has the value that you need to get your character ready to go. So those are the ones I'm actively working on. I don't suspect that anything else is going to come into the artifact set view right now. And I'm not measuring anything on these anymore because I would rather just focus on making sure things get done rather than focusing on getting things done quick. So the optimized artifacts um, swim lane, which is a brand new one, is my way of flagging some artifacts to reconsider. So as I kind of mentioned, leading going up to this version, I've been working on building artifact sets that are good enough. Now that's not enough. Now I want to think about getting artifacts that will kind of carry me further. That can get me closer to clearing floor 12 and actually clearing floor 12 of the. So, um, so I have two artifacts from Kale's set that I would like to kind of boost up a little bit. These have good stats for her, but the stats didn't roll high enough to really have that for that artifact to be excessively good. So that is Deepwood Memories, and of course I have one for the Traveler as well. that I would like to see a little bit higher. Of course, we can have Deepwood Memories and Gilded Dreams available to on the in this column because they're from the same domain. So, and of course, in Thundering Fury, I'm looking at Lisa's Circlet. I think that that one has um, room to grow, so to speak. And as I go along, once these everything is done in Thundering Fury, then we can move on to something else. Once Deepwood Memories and Gilded Dreams are done, this can move on. And with Eula potentially around the corner, that might be what the will determine what comes next. But anyway, that is everything I have right now. And I know that this is a little bit less information that I would normally want for this, but I did have to record this a little bit earlier. So I'm not trying to record because I can't record two videos. Won't be able to do the test run video any earlier for obvious reasons. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, consider subscribing to this channel, and following me on Twitch where I stream Genshin Impact twice a week, possibly more during 3.8 if necessary. Leave a comment below if you saw anything that you particularly enjoyed or particularly thought that I should do better. And I will see you in the next